City Wrestling.
Oh yeah! Welcome to the Grind City Wrestling Podcast. I am Dustin Starr. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to check out the archives, grindcitymedia.com/podcast. Some of the best interviews with wrestling's biggest superstars. Always give us a follow on social media at Grind City Media. Take that subscribe button to Slap City wherever you're listening or watching. Last week, we talked about Who Killed WCW Part 2. And was it really Goldberg? I don't think so, but this week it's the best wrestling that we watched all week, and I know that we've got to talk about part 3 of Who Killed WCW. We've got all that and so much more, but ladies and gentlemen, right now it is bell time. So introducing a man with a pretty sweet jersey on that he just revealed as I'm doing his introduction. It's the one and only Devin Walker. Baby. Okay, so you left that out of frame until...
Yeah.
Look at this, Triple H.
Triple H. I feel like I should be spitting water. I got to show you the back of it. The back of it is dope too. Look, has the game on the back.
Game. What year is that?
I think this may be 97.
1997. Was that the Triple H that came back with the leather blue jean jacket?
Yeah, this is right. Yeah, this is leather jacket Triple H right here. This one he's wearing cutoffs because he was like how jacked he was, you know. So yeah, I'm not as quite jacked as Triple H, but we're rocking it today. But yeah,
be sure to follow Devin on social media at Devin_Walker. E-Rock is out this week. I think he has a sick kid, so I hope they're feeling better. But he did send in some notes, and I love when E-Rock sends in notes because then when you argue back, he can't have a rebuttal. So we win the argument.
It's true. When he's not here, it's easy to argue with him. You know, when he's not here, it's easy to argue with him.
Devin, what's new?
I don't know. A lot is new, bro. A lot is new. Let's talk about wrestling because I think there's a lot to talk about. Even with the WCW doc, there's a lot of things in wrestling this week that we can really dive into that I really tapped into that I'm really excited about too. So let's discuss.
I got your back, player. First question before I ask what the best wrestling you watched all week was. The question I want to ask is Who Killed WCW the best wrestling on television right now? Is that the best series?
I think it's one of the best series. I think also that A&E program is pretty cool. I saw they're doing an episode on one of my favorite wrestlers, one of the culture's favorite wrestlers, Rob Van Dam, is coming next week. I'm excited for that. The whole effing show. You should get him at Memphis Wrestling.
Working on it.
That would be.
Might need a bigger boat for that one.
That would be insane. But no,
what I mean is we talk about, like, we're excited to talk about Who Killed WCW each week.
Oh, yeah.
But I know it's because it's a documentary. We know it's going to end, right? So what is there, 5 or 6 episodes, maybe something like that?
The season finale is next week. So it's
so 4 episodes, even better. So we could talk about it for 4 weeks and then go back to talking about other stuff. But I feel like that right now, this is the most exciting thing to talk about that we're watching on television.
For sure. Other than we had a freaking debut happen this week, man. We had 2 debuts happen this week that were monster in the wrestling community. That even with the Who Killed WCW doc, I think for me that was my best wrestling until these debuts happened. So we got, I know you saw them.
All right, so coming up, we're going to argue a little bit more about Who Killed WCW. I've got a lot of notes to share about that, plus E-Rock, Eric McMahon's notes. I want to know how old Devin was when all this was going on. Plus, we're going to hit some news and notes. Like Devin said, there were some debuts. Best wrestling we watched all week. But first, Memphis Wrestling has a huge weekend coming up. Check this out.
Saturday, June 22nd is Wrestling Night at AutoZone Park with the Memphis Redbirds, featuring the stars of Memphis Wrestling and the real one, Enzo. Get your tickets right now at memphiswrestling.tv. Sunday, June 23rd, AJ Francis and real one Enzo returns to Memphis Wrestling. Meet them both at our VIP experience along with the stars of Memphis Wrestling. Reserve your seat right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Welcome back to Grind City Wrestling. Dustin Starr, Devin Walker. We are at AutoZone Park on Saturday for Wrestling Night with Enzo. And then on Sunday, we've got Enzo and AJ Francis in the same building at the same time. AJ Francis has an open challenge for his TNA Wrestling Digital Media Championship. It's all going down this weekend. Get those tickets, memphiswrestling.tv. Are you going to pull up this weekend?
I should be there. You might have to make a phone call, but I should be in the building on Saturday.
I don't need to make any phone calls. All right. Best wrestling you watched all week, Devin.
All right, the best wrestling I watched all week. For me, it's easy. Like I said, it's easy to go with Who Killed WCW because I even went back into the WWE Network and watched some of those old shows to really kind of get like a bigger, firmer grasp on like what the hell was going on back there with WCW. But we'll talk about that later in the show. I could easily go with the debut of the remix Wyatt family, Uncle Howdy, and the whole that, bro. I'm just saying that was cinematic masterpiece. Don't cut that. That was a cinematic masterpiece. When we talk about camera angles and using certain things to kind of tell a story, that whole situation where the crowd goes black, where you have Jey Uso coming out doing his thing, the crowd's already doing the light thing, crowd goes black, they cut the camera, they swerve all the way backstage, and all the bodies are on the ground, just in the mud. The gorilla position, the lights are flickering, and they cut to another person. They keep going back, and they cut to Uncle Howdy, and then he walks out with his whole group, and Sister Abigail crawls out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. This is so great. So the debut of the Wyatt family is number 2 on my list.
Okay.
Number 1 on my list.
Hold on. I don't read a lot of really long posts, especially on Instagram. I just don't. I can't stay that long. But Mike Rotunda, who is Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas's father, IRS, Erwin R. Shyster, legendary Hall of Fame professional wrestler, by the way. He wrote a long post, and I read every single word of it, just about how proud he was and about keeping that memory alive and that creativity alive and all that stuff. If you missed it, Instagram, Mike Rotunda, awesome stuff. It's a great 5-minute clip. Like usually 5-minute clips I really don't tap into, but that 5 minutes has you kind of clamoring on to every moment because it's like a horror movie, right? So shout out to WWE for that. But number one, say his name, 5-star, and he will appear. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. The best wrestling of the week was the NXT Battle Royal. Joe Hendry coming out. Just a note on the Joe Hendry debut. The Joe Hendry debut was the most liked video on WWE social media since WrestleMania XL. Joe Hendry moves the needle. It's funny that he moves the needle in NXT like that because I remember seeing him at the Impact show in Memphis. And I was with my girlfriend and I was with her daughter. And you know what she remembers the most out of the show? The Joya entrance from Joe Hendry. That is funny.
She sings all the time. So look, Joe Hendry is a star. He knows how to get people going. The crowd's chanting his song word for word. It was great, bro. That's the best wrestling I watch all week.
Okay, no lies detected. We usually don't do this. We usually don't agree. But I put say his name and he will appear. NXT, Joe Hendry, where the hell did this guy come from? It was incredible. NXT is doing stuff that the big leagues, using that in air quotes, the big leagues did all the time, surprising us with this different stuff each week. Now, I will tell you a story that you're going to love and hate, all right? So about 3 months ago, I had several of the dudes at the Wrestle Center, trainees and wrestlers, saying, hey, you seen this guy, Joe Hendry? I'm like, who? And I'm goofing with them. I always say that. Who's she? Or never heard of her, stuff like that. Just goofing with them. Meanwhile, I'm kind of looking it up and stuff. So about 3 months ago, these guys were saying, hey, you need to book Joe Hendry. Guess who didn't? And guess who waited and sent an email this week? Oh, no. So I could have booked Joe Hendry and probably had him right now because usually you book him several months in advance or whatever. But I dropped the ball on that. But Joe Hendry, best wrestling that I watched all week. I haven't seen a whole lot about him, but I know he's taking the internet by storm. I know something's there. I also said, will we see a WWE superstar in TNA wrestling anytime soon? If so, who would it be? I can give you a couple. This is with my best wrestling that I watched all week. NXT, Joe Hendry. Kazarian appeared on the program as well. But the question is, the TNA wrestling, will a WWE superstar go over there? Drew, he just quit. He used to be TNA Wrestling World Champion. What if he made an appearance over there? You're right, quit. Natty has been pretty vocal on social media. So is Jordan Grace.
He could happily go over there. I'm so tired of seeing her on WWE television.
But it would be very cool and it'd be a great match. I'd love to see Jordan Grace versus Natalya. Or what about AJ Styles? The most famous superstar in TNA wrestling history.
The full circle moment of AJ's music hitting at TNA will be so dope. I think that would be phenomenal. Haha, no pun intended.
And then also with his storyline ending in the I Quit match and all that kind of stuff, like now he's actually doing a show in Japan with WWE's permission. So this is absolutely possible. Not really sure why all this is going on, but it is really cool. Okay, so that was the best wrestling that we watched all week. AEW Forbidden Door Watch Party. Watch with us. Absolutely free at Dave & Buster's in Memphis. That's Sunday, June the 30th. Then also, you need to get your tickets July 6th. Lander Center, AEW Collision and Rampage is coming. Check this out.
South Haven on Saturday, July 6th. All Elite Wrestling presents Collision and Rampage.
The best professional wrestling this world has ever seen.
Get the feeling as the biggest stars in professional wrestling bring a Saturday night fight to Lander Center.
That's what AEW is about.
Be a part of a live experience you can't find anywhere else. AEW Collision and Rampage, live from South Haven, Mississippi, Saturday, July 6th. Tickets on sale now at AEWTIX.com.
Welcome back, Devin. I know you're going to be in the house on July 6th at Lander Center.
Oh, they just announced that our boy MJF is going to be at that show, so I will be in the building. That's one thing I have not seen. The two times I've seen AEW live, I have not seen MJF live, so I will be there. They said they promoted him last night on the show. MJF will be in Memphis, so you know what that means. I'll be there.
AEWTix.com. You can get your tickets. Also, we're going to announce a pre-party, so I'll let you know when and where to be before AEW Collision. And then also, I'd love to give some tickets away. Are we allowed to give away tickets on this podcast?
As long as I get tickets too. That's the only rule to that.
Now, do you think that I would
enter the drawing? Can I enter the drawing as?
You think we would give away tickets and not make sure that we had tickets first?
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'll enter the drawing as Stephen Soccer.
Quick update, Wrestling Night, AutoZone Park. What's Rocky going to do with Enzo in the house? You got to be there for that. AJ and Enzo, the same building, same time, coming up this Sunday. MemphisWrestling.tv. Okay, Who Killed WCW? Part 3.
Let's talk about it.
Brad Siegel, the guy that was in charge of WCW when Eric Bischoff went away, wanted nothing to do with running WCW at all.
Nothing.
So they hired Vince Russo to do it. And they thought they were hiring a genius. Even Booker T said, I heard we were hiring some sort of genius in Vince Russo. Can you believe there was that much talk about hiring a writer or creative? We never hear about stuff like that, especially on screen.
Nah, and I think the part that stuck with me the most, 5-star with that whole part 3 is we hired Vince Russo, who was probably kind of like the engine that kind of drove the attitude era of WWE. But the part that stuck with me the most is the part where they were, I don't know who said it, but they said in WWE, Vince was kind of like the figurehead that weeded out all the weird shit. Yeah, he was a filter. Yeah. So all the weird shit that Vince Russo wanted to do, Vince would be like, nah, we're not doing that. But in WCW, he was in control of everything. So all the weird, kooky, weird ideas that he wanted to flush out, they had to do them because he was the head writer. So that's the part that stuck with me the most. Is that part is, and people want they always ask like, oh, Vince Russo wrote this, wrote that. Right. Why was he not able to do what he did in WWE? Is because he didn't have that figurehead like Vince McMahon to tell his ass, bro, that's a stupid ass idea. We're not doing that. Or Vince would tweak the idea to make it fit.
Yes.
WWE
program. All right. My buddy Simon, he helps me write Memphis Wrestling, and he comes up with some ideas. And some of them, you have to reel them in. Brother Man gives you a lot of different options on these creative pitches. And so I literally have to go, okay, I love all of this. I don't really like this. So what if we did this? And it's like just spinning off. So you're right. And you know, Brad Siegel or whoever said it on the show was right. There was nobody there to filter that. And in all fairness, I might pitch an idea and he goes, well, if you do this and this and you don't have to do that. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right. So it's like a total discussion. It's a conversation. Exactly. And there wasn't a conversation when Vince Russo was doing it. Now, here's the thing for me. Russo wrote himself into the show.
Yeah, that was kind of out of pocket. Like, why would you make yourself a main character on the show, bro?
Kind of out of pocket, bro. He wrote himself into the show. He wrote himself into the ring in matches. He wrote himself to be the world champion. He wrote himself to be speared by Goldberg, but then acted like, bro, you speared me so hard, bro. Dude, you yourself to get speared by Bill Goldberg. How the freak do you want him to do it? Of course he's going to kill you. Exactly. He's a writer, not a performer. So why on earth, if you're bringing over a writer, why is he on your television screen? He was not on camera at WWE. He did a bite this segment here or there or something like that, but he was not the main primary character. And that's what Booker T was saying, like, oh my gosh, this guy wrote himself to be the main character on the show.
And that was part of the issue too, because over there you were just a writer, but you came over here, you tried to take over, bro. You kind of like made it all about you. And then when you make things all about you, and you look back in that locker room, guys get pissed off. And there was already a kind of an episode that talking about there was already a resentment when he came in, because a lot of guys were Bischoff guys. They were like, "Yo, who is this dude coming in? Like this
Millionaires Club."
Exact, the Millionaires Club, where they saw the blur reality with the Millionaires Club and the New Blood.
Also, why is all of this stuff part of your on-screen television program? Like when you're reshuffling creative, you don't have to say we're reshuffling creative. You know what you do when you reset is like you were talking earlier off cam here a minute ago, saying that the Filthy Animals had a great match with.
It was like a 3-way tag. It was phenomenal, bro. It was like Billy Kid, Filthy Animals, and 2 other tag teams.
My point is the talent is there when you reset creative. You don't say, all right, guys, hey, TV audience, we're resetting creative. Russo's out, Bischoff's in, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. All you do is just put the matches in the ring, let the matches tell the stories for a second, and then you start new storylines. It's not really that hard, especially when you've got talent that can literally rock and roll for 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes. Look at AEW right now. You get a 30-minute contest, and these dudes are still flying off the top rope and everything in the final moments.
Even that tag team match I told you about that I watched with the Filthy Animals and other, like they were doing moves, and like I watch a lot of wrestling 5-star. Some of the moves made me pop that I was watching from back in 19. I was like, oh, I've never seen that move before. So like
we want to hear from Eric McMahon. We can Eric McMahon coming to us via text message. He texted us this morning. Here's my take. Number one is what Eric says. Nash is an asshole and thinks it's all about him. E-Rock does not like Kevin Nash.
Nah, he got smoke with Nash for sure.
Also, Nash came out and said that he was actually stoned during the filming of Who Killed WCW. Number two, Eric says, Russo is a goof but shouldn't get all the hate that he does. Why? I just explained, and I'm going to win this argument because Eric's not here. A writer wrote himself not only onto the show, but made himself a primary character, the top villain, the world champion. By the way, he also, him and Tony Schiavone, that was a pretty cool story about David Arquette winning the title. And I actually think that was kind of a cool thing, but looking at it from a wrestling point of view, it was really not. But there's a lot of reasons that Russo definitely deserves that hate. And then number three, Bischoff was controlled by Hogan. That is true. And that's why I feel like Bischoff and Hogan were in the right and Vince Russo was in the wrong by changing that finish after they left the building. Yeah,
for sure. But like, it was all in all, bro. It was part 3 was cool, but like, I think personally, I had a perception of Vince Russo that he kind of put the nail in the coffin of WCW. I feel like it got tweaked a little bit. But I still, he's a prick.
It was already dead. He just didn't have a filter at that point. And let me just throw this out here. The one thing that I really agree with Vince Russo on 100% is that, bro, it's a television show, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, you're supposed to write a television show.
Bro, it is a television show. It's fake. All right? Let me ask you a question. On what sitcom or television show does a character have creative control over what he can and cannot do? I'll wait. Did Seinfeld say, hey, brother, this script don't work for me?
Hey, he might have made a tweak or so. They might have made a tweak, but just don't say, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not
Like,
doing
what
that.
character on any television show can just do whatever they want? I mean, that's like Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah,
where
bro.
it's a video
They were
game and you
wild.
just do whatever the hell you want.
They were wild towards the end of WCW. But like I said, bro, I mean, it was a great moment for wrestling, and it's good to see this documentary because you see how much WCW really changed the landscape of wrestling, bro. They changed wrestling. Like no matter what we say or who killed WCW, or who did this or who did that, WCW changed the wrestling industry, bro.
It did. So WCW gave talent a celebrity and an exposure that allowed them to make careers pretty much for the rest of their lives. Look at Lex Luger today. Lex Luger's in a wheelchair today, but he's still able to make appearances and sign autographs and do all that stuff. And I know he worked for WWE, but he was world champion at WCW. Buff Bagwell, my good friend, because of his exposure and his run with WCW and the NWO, he can come to Memphis, Tennessee and make money. He can go everywhere all over the United States. He got us 300,000 views, 250,000 views multiple times. He really helped. He got us national exposure. Buff Bagwell, and that's based off his WCW run. Vampiro, able to, I know Vampiro was a big star in Mexico before, but him working with Sting made him a bigger deal to where he got the Lucha Underground job and all this kind of stuff.
There's so many names that I
Sting.
know. Yeah, there's Sting himself. Like there's so many names that I know from WCW. When you mentioned like the Psychosis, when you mentioned like even he had a run in
Conan.
Exactly, the Conan.
Big major star in Mexico, came to WCW, became an even bigger star, and now we're watching him on television today talking about WCW. He was one of the people selected to talk about who killed WCW.
Exactly. Eddie Guerrero, Billy
Yep.
Kidman, like all these guys, bro. Like Perry Saturn, like not rest in peace, F him, but Chris Benoit, like all these names, bro, come from the lineage of WCW.
I was a little surprised to see so many highlights of Chris Benoit on that show too.
They did, you know, it's funny. You know what I noticed? They did not show when he the flying headbutt. They show him jumping off, but they cut to like a speaking part before the headbutt landed.
One last thing, and then we'll move on. David Arquette's Booker T story was great.
That was wild.
Hit me in the heart, brother.
It really
Because
did.
here David Arquette is, and like him or not, major movie star, especially back then. I mean, he was on fire. He was in Scream. I mean, there was like all this stuff he was doing. And for him to win this title, and he's looking at it like it's a TV show. And it is. It's a TV show. And when he comes back and he goes, man, Booker T, you know, I'm the world champion. He's like, that's awesome. Like, how many times have you won the belt? Booker's like, none. And then David Arquette's whole demeanor just changed. And then when David Arquette cut that promo, and it was a good story because David Arquette came back and said, hey, man, I'm out of my league. I don't want this title belt. You guys take it. I'm not the professional. I got lucky, you know, or whatever. And then he mentioned, I don't deserve this title. Guys like Booker T deserve that title. Devin, I really do think that was probably an unscripted comment that took place backstage. He brought it in front of the camera, and I really think that helped. Because a superstar, movie star like David Arquette dropping Booker T's name randomly in this promo as being a world champion, what happened next? Booker T really started getting that push, man. That was a really cool story from David Arquette.
It's funny. That's one of those things where people like me, bro, as a kid, you don't see a lot of black world champions. You didn't see a lot of black world champions back then. And that's why you see a lot of us, we do kind of like, we hold Booker T to that higher standard because he was the first one we really saw hold the strap. You know what I'm saying? You see the Harlem Heat hold the tag team straps, but you never saw a black man hold the world heavyweight 25 pounds of gold. And Booker T was the first to do that. So Booker T, man, shout out to him, man. He's one of my favorites of all time. I'm still looking.
Me too.
I'm looking for a Booker T shirt from WCW, bro. I cannot find one. They're so hard to find.
I'm going to talk to Booker T this week, and I'll check with him and see if he's got anything in his inventory.
Please, bro. It's so hard to find Booker T shirts.
Big quick shout out to one of our listeners, King Jamie Davis. He's in the front row there at Memphis Wrestling with his crowns on and his championship belts. He's a listener, and he said that we shit on AEW every single week. But I want to be clear, we love AEW, right?
Yeah, it's called keeping it real, bro. We don't shit on AEW. It's just like they just do weird stuff. We gotta mention it.
I just thought that was funny. Also, shout out to Coach Pillar. We're going to be back in Pontotoc coming up on August 10th. We got our first ever Pontotoc street fight with Tommy Dreamer and Psycho Simon, and it's all benefiting St. Jude. And I wanted to call it the St. Jude street fight, but I just thought it probably wasn't right. You know what I'm saying?
That's a little aggressive. Let's not do that.
Anyways, Memphis Wrestling is all new again this week. If you missed last week, go check it out. ECW legends Tommy Dreamer and Kid Cash. And then coming up this week, the master of Fat Jitsu, K-Toomer. He told the Gun Show, look, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want to be your partner. If I need one, I'll find one on my own. So check that out. But also, Memphis Wrestling's live. We got a whole lot of new events that were announced this week. Wow.
Memphis Wrestling is on fire. This Saturday, June 22nd, is Wrestling Night at AutoZone Park with the Memphis Redbirds, featuring the stars of Memphis Wrestling, Rocky the Redbird, and former WWE star, the real one, Enzo. This Sunday, June 23rd, TNA Wrestling Digital Media Champion AJ Francis returns to Memphis Wrestling Plus, the real one, Enzo. Next Sunday, June 30th, watch AEW Forbidden Door with us at Dave & Buster's in Memphis. It's free to watch. Sunday, July 14th is Memphis Wrestling XL, featuring former AEW and WWE star Parker Boudreaux, plus TNA Wrestling star Marty Bell. Thursday, August 8th, Memphis Wrestling is live at the Benton County Fair in Camden, Tennessee. 7 p.m. is bell time. Saturday, August 10th, it's Rumble on the Trail Part 2, benefiting St. Jude, featuring ECW legend Tommy Dreamer and the first ever Pontotoc Street Fight. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Memphis Wrestling's on fire, Devin. How about you?
I'm always on fire, bro. I'm always on fire. I'm always buying new shirts. I'm always trying to tap in. I guess I'll be there Saturday. I'm excited. It means I have to sit through a whole baseball game, but it's fine.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're one of the first 1,500, you're going to get this Memphis Redbird soccer jersey, and you can see that this is crisp. What do the kids call it? This is in mint condition because it's still in the package, baby. I'm going to be doing the rounds with Rocky the Rockin' Redbird this weekend, so you got to be there. 5 o'clock, we're going to ring the bell. We've got pregame matches, and also you'll be in line getting these soccer jerseys, these Redbird soccer jerseys.
I don't have to buy a ticket to watch the pregame matches, right?
No, you don't. You can just come into the plaza.
Wait, so I can not buy a ticket, watch the pregame matches, watch the game from somewhere else, and come back for the in-game match.
You didn't hear it from me, but you absolutely can. 5 p.m. bell time, 5:35 doors. First pitch is at 6:35. I would imagine that Enzo is going to be throwing the first pitch. The big man K-Toomer will be there. The Gun Show will be there. Derek King, Ray Sanders, Mackenzie Morgan, the Memphis Wrestling Women's Champion, and so much more. What the hell is Rocky the Rockin' Redbird going to do this weekend? Last year, he dove off the top rope. What's going to happen this year? We're going to see. So the game starts at 6:35. Immediately following the game, there's a fireworks display. And then as you're leaving, the main event will be Enzo versus Psycho Simon. With Rocky the Rockin' Redbird there, it's going to be off the chain. Get the tickets, memphiswrestling.tv. But then on Sunday, like seriously, I had WWE talent scout Gabe Sapolsky come in. I had the TNA Wrestling Creative, whatever you want to call him, Tommy Dreamer here. And when they were here at the Wrestle Center, both of them looked at the poster on the wall of Enzo and AJ and said, "Oh wow, that should be a good one."
Huh? Should be interesting. I think I'll be there Sunday. I have some stuff to do Sunday, but I'll try to make an appearance. I will be there Saturday, no doubt though. Hey, if Rocky the Redbird doesn't do a soul snatcher, he's not doing it.
You think Rocky the Rockin'? And first of all, how many wrestlers out there do you think could even do a soul snatcher? You seen the head on Rocky the Rockin' Redbird? There's no way he's getting over for the soul snatcher.
If he ain't doing a soul snatcher, he ain't doing it right. 5-star. We need another viral moment from Rocky the Redbird this weekend.
Let's see what we can do. I know that Randy's in there painting red tables right now.
Oh no.
That's all the time we have this week. There's your teaser, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dustin Starr. He is Devin Walker, baby. And for E-Rock, Eric McMahon, who is out and was wrong again this week, I am Dustin Starr saying Hulk Hogan definitely killed WCW.
I believe in Joe Hendry. You believe in Joe Hendry.
Email me back, Joe.
You believe in Joe Hendry. Memphis believes in Joe Hendry. Shout out to email Dustin back, man. I'm trying to get Joe Hendry in Memphis.